Hey everybody, Jake Thurm here on behalf of V1 Sports. We are headed into the Genesis Invitational Tigers event, not being played at Riviera this year. Torrey Pines, which actually is kind of funny because Tiger has played Torrey Pines a lot better than he's played Riviera. Here is the 2024 Genesis Invitational champion, Hideki Matsuyama, who is also a Masters champion. Now, all I want to do, there's a lot to explore, obviously, with a player such as this, is how he hits a fade. And based off of a lot of his rehearsals and stuff, what shot is he looking to hit? What shot is he looking to avoid? So just some basic lines right here for posture and shaft plane, one off the rear, one off the head. Pretty standard right here, hands in, club out. You can see that left wrist is pretty flat and the club is getting pretty toe up. So that would tell me that his left hand grip is maybe slightly weaker than what you would consider to be maybe even a neutral grip nowadays, since the modern golf grip has gotten a little bit stronger. A little bit weaker left hand position. Now, from there, again, swings on a beautiful plane. Thing that I want to kind of key on, you can see how he deepens his posture, see his right pocket deepen at the top, and everybody knows about the Hideki pause. It's been well documented. What I want to point out is how the club face is on that side of the shaft with a little bit more toe down than you're used to seeing with some players. What has happened is shut-faced at the top, bowed left wrists have become very popularized with a lot of your best players like a Morikawa or a Jon Rahm. But that's not what Hideki's doing. Hideki is getting the club face even more open by getting the toe down, and actually, even with the weaker grip, getting a fair bit of wrist extension. Not a ton, but definitely you can see that he is moving it more towards opening. Now, why in the world would he pause at the top? I want you to watch the initial direction of the hands. So what you'll see more and more is that his hands want to move out. And I've seen him get more open and more laid off, which would be a club pointing to the left at the top with the driver and getting the club face even more open. This is typically someone who battles getting the club too far underneath, stuck from behind, and flipping it. So the pause, in my estimation, gives his chest a chance to rotate. This is called lead arm adduction. The chest rotate into the arm, which causes this initial outward motion of the hands. Now, you can see him going into flexion, which is very common. 9 out of 10 of your tour pros will probably do that. But remember, he was already in a little bit of wrist extension at the top. He already had the club face a little bit more open than perhaps a lot of the players that you're used to seeing. So when he does twist on the handle, the club does not get too closed. Yes, his hands and arms work down. Of course, they work down. Everybody's hands and arms work down. The ball is located on the ground. But there is that moment in time where it creates just this little bit more of an outward motion. Someone that gets the club more open, a little bit more laid off, wants the feeling of that club, not necessarily to shallow behind the hands, but to feel a lot more in front of them as they come down. So we'll just put another plane right here for the hands. Again, you can see that outward motion. That's the chest turning into the arm. So somebody that would do that typically is lower body dominant. In other words, if they were just left, if he made swings without pausing at the top, my guess is his lower body, his pelvis would outrace his rib cage so much that it would drop the club so under that he would feel a loss of control. Typically, that is a block and hook scenario. Probably the shot that he despises the most. So you can see that outward motion of the hands initially by getting the chest going early to then match up better with the hips. Again, you can see that club, even though it's a little blurry on this image, right in line with the hands. Pretty pure delivery right there. Hands exit left. Doesn't want to feel any undue closure of the club face through impact. Again, a left shot is probably the shot that he is trying to avoid. Whereas a high fade, and he hit so many good high fades into tight right pins last year at the Genesis. Will that be rewarded at Torrey? Well, Torrey Pines is a ball striker's golf course, and he's a world-class ball striker, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one. Jake Thurm on behalf of V1 Sports.